I'm hiding in the dark, sitting on the floor of the hospital ward drugs cupboard, with my stethoscope around my neck and tears streaming down my cheeks. My 12-year-old patient has just died, her body cruelly consumed with cancer. A senior colleague barges in and flicks on the light. "Jess, where have you been? You need to toughen up." So I stand up, sheepishly wipe my tears, and I do what doctors are taught to do. I get on with the job. And in doing so, I shut that moment in the cupboard away, along with the part of me that felt ashamed for being too sensitive, too compassionate. Over 10 years later, I realize now that part was my inner child. When I say inner child, I am in fact referring to a phrase deeply embedded in psychology literature, where our past experiences as children impact our behavior in the here and now as adults. Reconnecting with my inner child has brought subconscious thoughts and feelings to the forefront of my mind. But more than anything, it's uncovered the curiosity, wonder, play, and creativity of youth. So how? As adults, it can be easy to get caught up in doing, whether it's household chores, family commitments, work emails. We can lose the ability to think like a kid, to be indulgent, innocent, and in the moment. Cast your mind back to a childhood memory. Maybe it's apple crumble and custard in your school dinner hall, or that new bike you bought for your 7th birthday. That young part of you carries thoughts, feelings, likes and dislikes, all of which hold the power to impact you as an adult. I say this like it's easy, but I learned the hard way. It was in the depths of depression that I was first introduced to my inner child. I'd never thought of my childhood as traumatic, but my story matched what the research said. The more adverse childhood experiences you have, the more likely you are to develop mental illness as an adult. But there was more. Research also showed a graded relationship with adult physical disease, like heart attacks and cancer. So if there really was a wounded, vulnerable child inside of me, maybe it was time to lean into those feelings. Unraveling and making sense of complex childhood experiences can be exhausting. Sometimes we need professional help and support for this. I did. At one point, it was suggested I write my inner child a card. At first, it felt ridiculous, but as I formed the words that I needed to hear as a kid, something shifted. Slowly, I got better at connecting with the feelings, and instead of showing up with overwhelm, my inner child began to have space to exist exactly as she was. I looked up at the starry sky with the awe and wonder of youth. I marveled at the smoothness of a conker, tiny moments of childlike innocence that had been passing me by. My journey took me to a new career as a primary teacher. One day I was standing at the back of the school assembly hall. The piano started to play. Cauliflower's fluffy and cabbage is green. 200 children erupted into song. And suddenly, I'm no longer the adult in charge. I'm 7 years old again, standing in my own school hall with scabby knees under my corduroy skirt, chest puffed out, loving every minute of it. That moment hit me like a wave. And it wasn't just nostalgia. It was connection. Through the words of that song, my inner child had been seen, and she wasn't sensitive or self-indulgent. So, after 30 years, I joined a choir, a space for my inner child to express herself, one where I have laughed, made friends, and built confidence. I bet I'm not alone sitting at traffic lights singing my heart out. Maybe you do it too. Or maybe you want to. Since then, my inner child has continued to teach me, and the choices I make today are often with her in mind. I've bought sparkly shoes, eaten mugs of custard, and got stuck up trees. And it's not just me. Research shows that when we reconnect with play, humor, creativity as adults, we boost our mental health and well-being. So, when was the last time you played? I may have found my inner child through therapy, but for you it might be something else. The fleeting smile of a child on a bus, or water fights in the garden with your own kids. Or maybe it's more intentional, a self-help book or journaling. Either way, leaning into these feelings is not childish or silly. Instead, it's an invitation to dig deep and find that child inside of you. If I could go back 10 years, to that day I was crying in the cupboard, I would reach out to my inner child and I would say one simple thing. I see you. And I'm right beside you. Thank you.